I'm going to attempt to be pretty brief with the collection I have, but you might want to grab some coffee and a good snack. So in a couple months now, I'm going to be moving 2.5 hours away, so a lot of my collection is already at my parents' house. With that being said, that means a lot of the collector editions I have are packed up. So I'm going to be showing a lot of photos pretty soon of them instead of showing you them physically. The first Switch I ever got was in 2019, and it was the Pikachu edition. Obviously, I have what I like to call the Crash and Spyro Joy-Cons on right now, just because I'm really worried about stick drift and I didn't want to mess up the Pikachu and Eevee looking Joy-Cons that I actually have, but those are the grips and what they really look like, color-wise. I got this beautiful Fire Emblem case from Etsy, and I loved how many slots there were for the game carts. Now, the first time I got a OLED Switch, I actually got the standard edition, then sold it in order to get the Splatoon version that you see here. So even though I'm not a big fan of Breath of the Wild, I haven't really put much time into it, so I never really started the second one, but I had that FOMO feeling of wondering if I was going to be able to get the special edition for Tears of the Kingdom, so when it came into the store that I was working at, I actually just picked it up. Now, the Xenoblade Chronicles games, I have almost all of the special editions except for Torna and 3 because they're really hard to get a hold of. I haven't played them yet, I've only played the first one on the Wii. Now, Tsukihime I talked about in a different video. It's a visual novel. This is the Japanese image, but I actually do have the American one, and I'm really interested in it because of how supernatural it gets. Unicorn Overlord I also have sealed at home, but I want to play it so badly because I've heard such good things about the gameplay, and I always like Atlas games. Metroid Dread was a pain to get a hold of when it first came out. I actually pre-ordered from GameStop, and then they hid it behind the counter so that I couldn't get it, saying it was sold out, so thanks GameStop. Of course, I bought the special edition for Persona 5 Royal, even though I didn't need it, but, you know, I have it. Now, the Seas edition of Persona 3 Portable is literally incredible. I opened it when it showed up at my parents' house, and I was just about, like, in tears. It was so amazing to see the set look that good. The Evoker especially was just incredible, and I thought the case that was reminiscent of the original PS2 first released Persona 3 was just, like, jaw-dropping. Alright, when this special edition of Fire Emblem came out, it was a huge problem to get your hands on. I ended up getting it at Best Buy, but it really took some doing to get it. Now, was it worth it? Absolutely. And not even really for the game, but look at how beautiful this special edition just is. Everything is full color, like they really went all out to do the manual, and I really love the glass NES cart. Fire Emblem Engage is not one of my favorite Fire Emblem games, unfortunately. I really had high hopes for it. Obviously, I bought the special edition. And while I've played it, I didn't finish it. So that kind of says a lot, because I've gone and played every single Fire Emblem since the Switch era. Fire Emblem Three Houses was the big game for me. It made me a fan of the series, and, you know, I was really doubting it. When I first saw it, I thought it just looked like another Persona ripoff, but no, it's like a top 2 game for me. It's probably my second favorite game ever. And the special edition I actually got for someone else, but I ended up getting it. It's a whole story. I absolutely love it, and I do actually have a signed copy of the standard edition of the game that I first got. Now, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, I was kind of nervous about, but I ended up absolutely loving it. Like, I really didn't think so because I don't really like the Fire Emblem Warriors game, which I'll show later. But I needed the special edition because I love Three Houses so much. I ended up getting it from Europe. Like, I bought it from Amazon UK and pre-ordered it when it came out. Alright, so here are a couple of the special editions that are not so special. They're just kind of small. A lot of them I have pretty fond memories about. Chaos is like a spin-off of the Steins Gate series, and then for a while NIS America was doing these really awesome editions of like JRPGs that we had never gotten localized, so that's why I have Phantom Brave and Soul Nomad, although I haven't yet played them. Super Monkey Banana Mania and Guilty Gear were both purchases because of Jordan again and my bestie Joss, who has also been on the channel many times. I ended up getting this Guilty Gear because I wanted a physical, but it turns out that it wasn't playable online, only Guilty Gear Accent. Actually, it doesn't play online at all, even if you get the digital version. The Castlevania Advanced Collection is super awesome. I obviously haven't opened it yet, but I do have Circle of the Moon that I've played before. And then Sonic Color, I just got it because it was super cheap. I know it's not the best port of the game, although I did sell my original Wii one off because I have this now. Alright, so we're getting into the games. These are all very out of order. Princess Peach Showtime is okay. The Fist of the North Star Fitness Botany is actually really good. I was kind of surprised. I still play it every once in a while to get some boxing exercise in. Aichu is kind of a pass. Not very good unless you're really hardcore into like idol worship and just like rhythm games. Sonic Forces, obviously terrible. Don't bother playing it. Mario Party Jamboree is the newest one and it's actually very good. Double Dragon Neon is a must if you like 2-player co-op. And it used to be on the PS3, just stuck there for years. Emio the Smiling Man really surprised me. I think it's a fantastic game, and I wish that the Famicom Detective Club 1 and 2 became physical. Alright, Catherine, I only bought this Switch version because it comes with the sheep keychain. I know how ridiculous that is, but, you know, that's me. Another Code Recollection, I have only played the original DS game, and when I got the Advance Wars reboot, I didn't really like it that much. Something about it felt so different than the GBA originals, so it kind of bummed me out. Astral Chain and Animal Crossing are very much COVID-coded for me because they were all I played. I was seeing someone who worked at Target and brought me those games as like a gift and a care package with some Green River and ice cream to make Green River floats. I actually do have the special edition of the Bayonetta set that came out with 3, where it's like multiple case slots for all the games. Haven't really loved Bayonetta in a while, unfortunately. Capcom Fighting Collection is so awesome. You absolutely need it if you like any of the OG Capcom fighting games. So that Chrono Cross copy I actually got from an anime convention like quite a while ago. I think it came out in 2019 already. But I really love Chrono Cross, even though Trigger is, you know, arguably better, but it's not always needing to be compared. So the Insane Trilogy and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled were like 2 of my first purchases with the console. I was in North Carolina visiting my aunt and I came across like the version that came with the controller and I was just obsessed. I played it so much, and I would go to my cousin's house and we'd play it until 1 in the morning even though we had school the next day. Death Smiles, super underrated. I played it originally on the Xbox 360, but it's even nicer to have it here. Disaster Report 4 is also really good. Doraemon Story of Seasons is so freaking good. If you like Harvest Moon and you like the Japanese Mickey Mouse known as Doraemon, you need to play this. And Dragon Ball FighterZ was also one of my first Switch games. I brought it just so that I could play with my older cousin Eric. We played like 1 or 2 rounds and then gave up, because at the time I was not into fighting games. These Fiddle Frame games, I've played Black Water, but I haven't played Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. I kind of liked those, but I really liked Fiddle Frame 3 the best. Gout Metal is a weird game. I made a video about it. It's not that great when it comes to the playing, but the music and the idea of it is really cool. Great Ace Attorney, I bought day 1. Absolutely love the Ace Attorney series. I wish that the original HD remasters came to the Switch in any region but just Japan. NG is a really interesting visual novel that's about ghost hunting. It kind of reminds me of Yu Yu Hakusho if it stayed like in the first arc of just him spirit hunting. Nier Automata, I love that game so much on the PS4 that I ended up buying it for the Switch. I don't know why I needed to buy it, but I bought it for $40, so there you go. And then the No More Heroes steelbooks belong to the limited run edition from a couple years ago, and I've made a video about that game, obviously. I love it, and I still need to play 2 and onward. So the Octopath game I got very cheap at Walmart, you gotta keep your eye out at Walmarts because sometimes they really do have insane deals. You'll see more stickers from Walmart later. So Persona 5 Tactica is kind of a pass, but Persona 5 Strikers, really good. I quite like it, and I'm not really one of those people that likes Dynasty Warrior stuff, but that one and Fire Emblem Three Hopes really hit me. Now, Pikmin 1 and 2, and then Pikmin 4, it always irritates me that I don't have Pikmin 3 to go along with it, but, I'm still tracking it down because I don't want to pay full price for it. Let's Go Pikachu was one of the first Pokemon games I really got addicted to, which I know sounds ridiculous. The first Pokemon game I ever played was Fire Red, and I really loved it, but playing it with someone to try to get all 151 was a highlight of my year in, 2022. I super duper think that the House of the Dead remake is very fun, and I'm super excited that the second one is going to come out eventually. Crossing our fingers and toes, right? And of course, the Hyrule Warriors / Dynasty Warriors games are here. I recommend that all of you guys pick up that Klonoa remake. I think that both of them are really good, although I do love the original charm of the first PS1 game and the PS2 game. They look better to me, but I feel like these ones just play better and they're way more convenient. These are more Zelda games that I haven't really gotten to. The only Zelda games I really love is Ocarina and Majora's Mask. I'm one of those people, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to play these and like them. I just haven't really given them a chance yet. Luigi's Mansion 3 was a gift from a cousin of mine. I haven't played it. I am interested in it though, but it's just kind of one of those ones that's sitting for me. So this set of Mario Party games are iconic to me. I've put so many hours into these online with friends and in person. It's one of the perfect setups of games is those three. They're just so fun. Now, Mario Strikers is not really anything, but Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is pretty fun, although I do think that the Wii games are better, and there are many more of them with different characters. Mario vs. Donkey Kong was kind of a letdown. I don't care about it that much. It's kind of just okay to me. Mercenaries Saga Chronicles is actually a really good Fire Emblem kind of game. It's really interesting, there's a good story, and there is some romance and stuff like that, and just leveling up your characters to talk with them more and get some social link kind of things going. Miitopia is really cool if you like to put your grandma as the main bad guy of your whole town. Monster Hunter Rise, I try to get into Monster Hunter games ever since the 3DS, and I just don't really care about them. I wish I did, but they just don't hit for me like they do for some people. Oddworld New and Tasty is a great remake of the original Oddworld that I really love. And then Neo, The World Ends With You, I bought day one because I was worried it wasn't going to sell well, which it didn't. And I have not yet played it. So these are a couple Pokemon games I haven't gotten to yet. I'm trying to play them in order, so right now I'm still on Soul Silver, even though it's been a year. So, I gotta get to it at some point. The Resident Evil triple pack is kind of ridiculous. I don't know why I need it, because I've played Resident Evil 5, 4, and 6 on every system ever. Resident Evil 6 I don't even care about, so why did I need it? You tell me. These Rune Factory games, I really don't know anything about. I just know that they're kind of Harvest Moon-ish with more RPG mechanics, and I got them for $10 each at a Walmart. Plus, Samba de Amigo was actually good. I know a lot of people hated on it when it came out, but I actually thought it was pretty good. SNK Heroines is a terrible fighting game. Honestly, don't bother unless you like to have your eyes burned and to just make fun of your friends. Spyro Reignited Trilogy makes me so ill because of the frame rate, so I can't really recommend it to people who get nauseous easily. I would rather you just play the original games, honestly. Yeah, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is very iconic with me and a couple of my friends. It is just so good. I played Alpha and Street Fighter Third Strike more times than I can even count. Stubbs the Zombie is a really great game. I played it on the Switch, but I ended up getting a physical copy at some point. And then Super Bomberman R is kind of underrated. It's really very fun online, although it's not as good as the PS1 games. These are obviously games that are very, very good. I don't care so much about the Mario 64 port in that collection, but, it's nice to have it there at least. Team Sonic Racing is actually pretty solid, a very good attempt, and I'm excited to get Cross Worlds whenever I end up grabbing a physical version of that. And then Taiko no Tatsujin is iconic, I love it. I really, really enjoy it. I've talked about it in a rhythm game video before. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Fire Emblem Encore is just not it. It's a crossover between Fire Emblem and SMT, and I just think it's like very low quality. I don't know. I should maybe give it a try again at some point, but it's just not for me. Undertale is another game that everyone loves, and I have just never gotten into it like everyone else did. I feel kind of bad about that. So this was a display box that the GameStop gave me. I'm not really sure why I got it, but it's kind of cool to have now. And then Untitled Goose Game, I played it digitally on the PS4, and I really liked it when it came out. That was like a meme game, wasn't it? Just like Squirrel Gun, or Squirrel with a Gun is a meme game now. I really like the Walking Dead series, and I kind of fell off after season 2, but I ended up getting this for really cheap, so I kind of have it on the back burner. And then Valhalla is a really amazing game if you like visual novels, and if you like games like Coffee Talk especially. The World Ends With You on the Switch plays pretty terribly. I think it's nice that it's convenient to have on the Switch, but the touchscreen controls just don't work well. Like, they just really stop all the time on me. World of Horror is a fantastic, hand-drawn, just done with a very small group of people, horror game, and you've really got to test it out. It's quite incredible. The E series is one that I have a lot of the games and then haven't played them yet. I know that's so goofy, because I've wanted to, just like Legends of Heroes and Trails of Cold Steel. I want to play those games so bad, I just haven't made the time for them yet, because RPGs take so much time. But I've got them, so I should get around to them eventually. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link Evolution is really sick until you get to the newer Zexal era of cards, and I just didn't care as much about it. Again, when the Apollo series came in the trilogy form on Switch, I had to grab it immediately. I haven't played that specific one yet, but Detective Pikachu Returns I was also excited about and haven't played it, so, I like that a lot of these are sealed. It's so depressing that I haven't gotten to them. The Miles Edgeworth games, I was super excited about to support them. I don't know when I'm going to play them because I do have an Etsy copy that was fan translated, but it's really nice to finally see that people can actually play that one because most people don't even know there's a second one. And then South Park games are actually pretty solid. I haven't played the new one right here, but I know that it kind of got crapped on when it came out, so I got it for cheap though, but I'll probably end up playing it. And then obviously that Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist collection I talked very positively about in a video, so I'm not going to bore you there. So I do have a couple digital-only games on both of my Switches. The first one is The Walking Dead and The Walking Dead Season 2. Then I have Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley, which I actually really, really love. About an elf I made a recent video on. And Little Strays is absolutely terrible. Don't bother, it's like AI garbage. Bitula is a shoot-'em-up that's really, really hardcore. I also have the third season of Walking Dead. Kill la Kill If and Deadly Premonition Origins I want to get physical copies of, so I haven't really even played those. And then Kirby's Dream Buffet I also haven't played because I'm terrible. Yeah, the Persona 5 Strikers game also comes with some bonus content like an art book and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy IX are some of my favorite digital-only games. I know that you can get physical versions on Amazon and whatnot, but I just never did. Coffee Talk and Lost in Harmony are both great. Lost in Harmony is a rhythm game. Coffee Talk is not. It's a visual novel. And then BlazBlue Cross Tag, I only got it because of the Persona 4 cast, but it's okay. Outrun, obviously I needed it. Pensu is not very good. I thought it was going to be a really goofy, shoot-'em-up visual novel spin-off kind of thing, and it was, but it wasn't good. The Coma is alright, not the best horror game I've ever played. And then that specific Jake Hunter game is actually a game developed by Arc System Works of all people, which I wasn't ever expecting. It's based on the Japanese series called Tante Jinjaju Saburo. It's a 30-year-old series. It's actually really cool. It's usually on the Sega Saturn, though. Instead of being really cliche and talking about my top 5 favorite Switch games, I could just easily cut it down to my very favorite, and that's Fire Emblem Three Houses. I could probably talk about that game for about 9 million hours, but I'm not going to. So I actually want to talk about a couple of my favorite memories with the Switch, because we are coming to the end of an era. My very first favorite memory comes from when I got my Switch in the very beginning of college, so 2019, and I got Mario Kart pretty quickly after I got Crash Team Racing, and of course, once I met more friends from college, I started playing all the time. Starting in 2019, I finished my freshman year, got halfway through my sophomore year, and then COVID happened, where it totally knocked out a huge chunk of my junior year and the end of sophomore year, so it was just a really difficult time. And because it was so difficult, I tried to make the best of it, and I have a couple memories of that era, but playing Mario Kart before COVID happened with Joss and Jordan, who I've talked about many times on the channel, and I'm going to talk about more actually in this segment here. It was just something that we did almost every day after school. And we went to school Monday to Thursday. We didn't have Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of school, which was really awesome. I went to an art school. The amount of times we had to play Rainbow Road and the Luigi's Mansion map just because Joss liked it, it was really iconic to me. So those are like burned into the back of my brain, whether it was like the Mario Kart 8 version of it or if it was the N64 version of Rainbow Road. Both were really fun. And of course, whether I played Joss or Jordan or both of them at the same time, I always ended up winning because I'm one of those people. And because I played so many racing games in my life, it's just kind of like a no-brainer. So anyone who plays with me, it's actually like really sick when someone can beat me. So I maybe should play online with Mario Kart World Tour whenever I end up getting a Switch 2, which is going to be far, far away from now, because I don't want to spend $500 on a Switch when it's not even going to be OLED, and it's probably going to have 100 issues before they put out a better version later. So, yeah. And of course, Mario Kart is like an instant classic when it comes to playing with people online who you know or don't know, and I've played many, many games of it outside of college as well, but just because at that time I was kind of struggling with what I wanted to do when I graduated, things like that, I started getting really, high stress. It was an instant reliever of stress until a blue shell came and bit me in the butt. Now, speaking of that COVID era, that's actually when Joss and I decided we were going to be fighting game people. So I had always flirted with the idea of playing fighting games, but it wasn't something I felt really comfortable doing because when I got Super Street Fighter 4 or, I don't know, I played Street Fighter at the arcade or something, I just always sucked. I didn't understand that you really needed to be slow and calculated about how you learn the movesets for each character, how you couldn't just play a random character even if you thought they looked good, if you didn't know how they worked. Like, you can't go from Ryu to Guile very easily. So we started with the Street Fighter collection, and I bought myself a copy and I bought Joss a copy for like under $40, which was awesome. And we played it religiously. Like, we played it all the time. During school, out of school, when we were stuck at home during COVID, over the summer, we played it all the time, and we ended up getting more into like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, and not so much Tekken, even though I know that Joss really likes Tekken, especially Tag Tournament on the Wii U, because Joss was one of those people that had a Wii U. I didn't until somewhat recently, like 2021 maybe, and I still don't own that game, I don't think. Maybe I do. I don't remember what I have. I have too much crap, alright? I can't control myself. Well, anyhow, we would just like walk back and forth through every map. It was like such a journey. These are games that are so old, and so many people who are very familiar with fighting games are kind of like, whatever, it's just another... This is just Street Fighter Third Strike, like, whatever. But no, we were amazed by just the art of it, the parallax scrolling, the designs of the characters, the incredible jazz music, especially in like Capcom versus SNK. Like, it's just wild how fighting games are so beautiful and artful when it's made for people who don't really care about that necessarily. Like, there are very few people who play video games because of the art of it, and way more people who play it just because it's something to do. And I think that's something that Joss and I really tapped into. And of course, Jordan also would play, and while Joss would always play Sakura, and I was mostly Ryu or Guy, she got really into Nash. I actually have a really sick Nash bust at my parents' house. I have to take a picture of it eventually and show. I think I'd do a whole video, honestly, about all my cool game-related stuff, but that would be a lot. This video is already kind of running kind of long, but whatever. That's what you're here for, right? Just to hear me babble on. Okay, second to last little memory here. Even though I probably have 9 million, I don't want to make this go on forever. But when COVID just hit, I had to finish my sophomore year, and I literally couldn't see anyone. Like, I was totally closed off for months and months at a time. The only person that I could somewhat see was the person I was seeing who worked at Target. I would get little care packages of ice cream, Green River, the best soda ever, and some sprinkles. And I would turn on Final Fantasy VII, like the original that I showed the digital version of, because I owned it on the PS1. I knew that the remake was going to come out. I already had it pre-ordered, because this was early 2020. And I actually got that game in 2020 at a GameStop, and it was like a 40-minute experience to try to get them to just give me the game, because they didn't want to come out to me, and I couldn't go into the store, because it was that time when stores weren't open, but the pre-order was such a big deal. It was a whole thing. Anyway, I would make my little Green River float, add a crap ton of sprinkles, and I would, like, get whatever homework I need to do for the day while listening to, like, Scorpion tapes, like Scorpion the band. And I would do my homework, cry about it, and then play Final Fantasy VII, and it was, like, an entire week I put, like, 60 hours in, because it was all I could do. And I played it and got as much as I could into the story without using a guide and stuff. It made me fall in love with Final Fantasy VII, absolutely. I always wanted to play Final Fantasy VII, but it was one of those games that was so overhyped that I thought I wouldn't like it. And I had a friend at the time who was a really, really close friend. We don't talk anymore. But she loved Final Fantasy with, like, all of her heart, and she ended up making me a really gorgeous Tifa painting, but it's kind of a sour memory now, I suppose. But Final Fantasy VII is just such a good game. Like, I like what they're doing with the remakes, but I don't think it will ever hit me as hard because it's not just one solid piece like the original is, whether that be the background art, whether that be the character writing, whether it be like the weird personalities that some of them have in the game. And they give you just enough talking to not be sick of the characters. That's how I feel about it, at least. Now, my last memory here is actually with Amanda, who made her own video on the channel before. I'll link it above. She was not very into video games when I first met her, and I met her a little bit after I graduated college, so in 2022. I ended up sending her a yellow Switch Lite, which I later ended up giving her my base OLED Switch, with just the white Joy-Cons, but that's a whole nother story. One way to kind of get her into the idea of visual novels, because I really thought she'd like that since she loves reading and she loves just, like, good stories, was that I would go over to her house and we would play The Walking Dead, which is why I ended up getting the digital version on Switch, because I already have the PS3 counterpart, but I didn't want to have to keep taking a whole PS3 versus just bringing my Switch and putting it on her dock. Her mom probably didn't like it because it's a lot of shooting and violence, and whenever she heard it, she was worried that Amanda would have nightmares or whatever, which I don't think she did, but it was like a good gateway to get her to kind of play a game that wasn't super difficult, but it was also like just hard enough during some of the action scenes that she had to learn some reflexes, and I think that really helped her. But we spent quite a while, and she got really emotional at the end, of course, because it is just a very emotional game, but I really love the memory of going to her place, probably eating something with her mom, drinking crazy soda since her mom loves soda, like different flavors of soda, and just getting her into games a little bit more. We ended up playing the first season and second season, and then we stopped. So it's been almost 2 years now since we played the game, so we maybe have to go back to it. But because of Walking Dead, I do think that she got more into, like, Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk 2 and unpacking and, you know, other visual novels. Unpacking's not a visual novel, but it does have story elements, and that's something that she really is attracted to. Alright, enough of my blabbing. If you have any really good memories of the Switch, or you have games that you want to talk about owning because they're very cool, and I'm going to be very jealous if you ended up getting the golden Persona 4 edition of the limited run release, because I wasn't able to buy it since they were $200 at the time, but I know now they're going to be like $400 just because people are jerks. But anyhow, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.